welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Well, welcome back to a fine Saturday with Don Gatling and Gino Franti on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show, where for over 6 years we've had the pleasure of joining you every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. with some of the best guests we can find in all of Santa Cruz, whether they're the top real estate professionals, financial professionals, college planning, estate planning, or city planning. We bring some of the top city officials on our show, and of course one of our favorites and a good friend of ours. We are fortunate that he gives time to us almost every other month to kind of give us a rundown of what's really happening in your city. Plus he's a good friend of ours, involved in real estate. He's got it all, and just a good dude to be on our show every, I don't know, month or two, Mr. Bob Kellar. Thank you for joining us, Bob.
No, thank you for the invite. I always enjoy coming.
It's really nice. I mean, your schedule is so full. It's funny. I see every time I look through either the Signal or the city magazines, you're in like every other picture. It's either you or the Acra.
My apologies to everybody, because I took all the mirrors out of my house. My picture should not be shown anywhere.
You're like sick of seeing yourself.
Oh.
Well, if you'd like to
no,
join
you're very
us.
photographic. You are. You're photogenic. We enjoy seeing you. You're always smiling, and you're always there, and you're always giving. So that's all we can ask for.
We love our city, and it's my pleasure.
All right, so if you want to make your own decision to see if Bob is picture-worthy or not, then join us at donandgino.com. Go to the live streaming button on the right-hand side, and you can join us here in the Vault Media Studios, where we record our show just for you.
All right, and Bob always, is nice enough to come on the show. Record it right here at Skyline Homeowners, our custom-built studio, as Gino mentioned, and you always give us great insight of what's happening with our community. But what I'd like to do today also is get to know Bob a little bit more, because a lot of you out there don't realize that Bob's been a giver basically his entire life. I mean, you have 25 years in the LAPD, correct?
That's right.
Before you even get involved with our city. I know you also got 20-plus years as a member of this SEV Veterans Memorial Committee as well.
I'm not currently on that committee now,
but you had 20-plus years on that.
Oh, without question.
And very proud of all you did with that.
And can I tell you something? If you don't mind,
Please
I
do.
also was a couple of years active in the Army back in 65 through 67. I'm very proud of that as well.
As you should be, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We love our vets. We're actually, you realize we're one of the #1 VA lenders in all of Santa Cruz. I mean, all of LA County.
LA County, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's
even
tremendous.
above like Wells Fargo. We're right there with B of A. We kick Chase's, you know what. I mean, we do a lot of.
God bless.
That's our favorite, and it's the best loan on the planet.
As
Any of you
it should
vets
be.
listening, you can get in with zero down and possibly zero money out of your pocket. Reach out to Bob Kellar to find you a home. We'll get you a loan. How about that?
No, I like that.
Because I know you love your vets.
Well, it's so important. I mean, people freak out. They hear 100% financing. It's so scary. No. VA loans have been around for a really long time.
Yes.
The program is vetted. The program's got it all set up. No pun intended on that.
Vetted.
The program is all set up to make sure that our vets don't lose their homes. So even though they don't have a large down payment, the rest of the security features are there in the loan to make sure they're okay.
Well, when we were talking about getting to know Bob, a lot of you out there don't realize that actually Bob owns a real estate company.
That's right. 16 years?
Yeah, it's like.
Opened it up in year 2000, and thank you for mentioning it, Don. I will tell you, yes, when I'm out here doing my city council work, I'm not talking about my real estate company.
Don't.
They are two separate worlds, and I'm there as a city councilman. And
Did I bring that up, Gino? Because
did.
he's like, why didn't we have Bob talk about his real estate? I'm like, he doesn't talk about it. He's so proud of it. But his role, you're really good about the duplicity, meaning when you're a councilman or a mayor, and you've done it 4 or 5 times each, and we're hoping you do mayor again, we're voting for you.
Well, God willing, I'm looking to be mayor in 2020.
That's
Nice.
what we're. That's
and,
what
that, and I openly tell you this, no secret. This time, I said this before, and I ran one more time, but I will not run again. This will be my wrap up. I have 20 years on the city council, and the truth of the matter is, it's time I move on and somebody else gets on board.
All right, your final tour.
Yep.
And rightfully so. You've been a councilman or mayor, basically one way, shape, or another since 2000.
That's correct.
Like 17 years. You're talking another 20 years. Is 20 years your mark or something like that? 20,
20,
25?
25 at everything you do?
You know what? I got to tell you, I think we're running out of those. If I hang in there another 25 years, I'll tell you. I'll be.
Well, we'll be interviewing you for other things.
Yeah.
Bob, what's keeping you alive at 125?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah, but you keep busy, though, Bob, and we really appreciate it because you are and you know, I know we tout you a lot, but we appreciate all the hard work you do because you're involved in everything around in town, and you're just a giver. You love our city. I mean, and you're passionate about everything that goes on here, just like we were talking about at the break. You know, we had this very unfortunate situation come up on 4th of July. It's come up before in the past, especially like in certain regions like Sand Canyon and so forth, with the traffic safety. And we unfortunately had a very bad accident on 4th of July that took some lives.
How unfortunate is right. How terrible. But, you know, and it's been a very controversial matter. There's been a lot of correspondence to City Hall, we as the council and so forth, by citizens with different thought processes having to do with this terrible accident, which, by the way, for those that may not be aware of it, it occurred on McBean over by Decorro. That's where Wolf Creek is, right in that area.
Yep.
And from all reports that have come forward, apparently one individual was exceeding the speed limit
Substantially.
rather significantly, lost control, went over to the other side, and it was a head-on collision, ultimately killing both drivers in both vehicles. And the other unfortunate individual that was struck, that was not speeding, was an 18-year-old recent graduate, and just a great kid with a very bright future. How terrible for both of them to have lost their lives.
Yeah, it's you know, we were talking about also is that, you know, people are now screaming to lower the speed limit.
That's right.
And you know, I don't think that's the solution. I'm not a traffic planner or anything, but if someone's exceeding the speed limit by 20, 30, 40 miles an hour, they have no regard for the speed limit. It doesn't matter if it's 35, 55, or 65. They're going to go fast.
They're going to do it, and you're 100% right. Lowering the speed limit is not going to make a difference.
No, you can have more enforcement.
Irresponsibly, they're playing Russian roulette, but unfortunately, they're playing Russian roulette with not only their own life, but others.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's the key
we've
thing.
all seen it particularly on freeways, but you see it at home too, on streets, and where cars going in and out of traffic to try and gain another 20, 30 yards. But every time they make those lane changes, they are adding a percentage of risk to not only themselves but to the other folks that are on the road. And eventually, trust me, there will be, you will fail. You will have an accident.
Yeah, so I grew up racing cars, Don, and you know, one of the things that happens when you're driving the cars, you feel like you've got great control. And you have great control at 60, at 70, at 80. You feel like you're in great control.
Yeah.
The problem is, let's say you run over a piece of debris and it cuts a tire. All that great control you had, out the window.
Absolutely.
Things outside your control. And we've all seen debris on the freeways, debris on the roads. As much as our city and everybody tries to keep them clean, stuff falls off of cars all the time. I've seen hammers. I've seen couches. I've had to avoid mattresses. I mean,
weed whackers. So it took out me and my friend and his car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess the moral of our story, Bob, and I appreciate you bringing it up, and it's a soft subject right now, and a hurtful one, is that everybody needs to be aware of what they do that can affect others, not just yourself, because it's the same thing with the DUI situation. When you're driving under the influence, you're risking others' lives. Not
Absolutely.
just I never worried. I'm really good about not doing that because it wasn't my fear of getting the DUI. It's my fear of hurting somebody else that is completely innocent. And it's the same thing with driving fast. It's just as bad. You can take lives.
You know, I had a situation where we've all heard of the every 15-minute program that is carried out for the 11th, 12th graders in the high schools. And they've invited me over the years to attend those and say a few words. And I always tell the same story. And because see, when you have people that are behaving irresponsibly, who knows what's going to happen? And it can be under the influence of alcohol, under drugs, a variety of things. But I tell a story, and I won't go into great detail, but where, and I mean this very sincerely, out of all my years on the LAPD and working the street, a lot of accidents, a lot of terrible things, but the absolute one that I found the most horrific was having coffee one morning with my mom and dad in their house in Panorama City. And in this situation, I was just over visiting him to visit my folks. and I heard some skidding and an impact, some more skidding, and another impact. And they lived on a corner, and I thought, boy, somebody's plowed into my car, parked at the curb. Anyway, I ran out. I wish that would have been the case. And as it turned out, it was a kid, 17 years old. He had a couple of buddies in the car with him, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's showing off speeding in a residential area. And so what did he do? He lost control of the car, went up over the parkway, hit a fire hydrant, the first impact. More skidding, crossed the street, and up onto the curb and against a telephone pole. That was the last impact. But here's the thing. On the sidewalk over by that hydrant, fire hydrant, was an 11-year-old girl walking with her 7-year-old brother.
Wow. Hit
the girl, missed the brother, sent her flying. And I will just tell you, I watched that little girl die right there on that sidewalk. And it was just unimaginable. And I say this to the high school kids. All right, young people, think about this. How would you like to wake up every day for the rest of your life and remember that your speeding, your irresponsible behavior cost the life of an 11-year-old girl? I said, I don't know what jail will do to you or anything else, but I can tell you this, that would be a terrible thing to have to live with.
It's life-changing, obviously, for everyone.
And that's why I tell that story. And, we've got to be careful out there. We've got to recognize. I mean, these things are horrific. They're terrible. So,
anyway. All right.
There's more positive. Can I make a comment? I know you're about to take a break.
Yeah.
But I want the listeners to know this. The city truly works very diligently. We have a regular staff. I'm not talking about one person. I'm talking about a team at City Hall that do nothing but study traffic patterns, the timing of the signals throughout our city, every aspect of our traffic is reviewed, an ongoing process, never ending, to make modifications and adjustments for public safety. And I say that because sometimes we get correspondence, people think, well, the city does nothing.
Right.
No, it's quite the contrary. We do everything in our power to ensure that our streets are as safe as they possibly will be. But if you're going to drive irresponsibly, all of that's out the window.
Right. All right. The moral of the story is your actions can affect others, not just yourself. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show, we have Bob Kellar, multi-time councilman and mayor, sharing what's really happening in our community and the real estate as well. When we come back, we'll be right back.